There's good news and bad news today for people living in Indiana. I'm Ken Owen. The good news is Hoosiers are increasingly showing concern for preserving our environment. On the downside, we're running out of places to put our trash. Alison Gilman defines the problem.
Thanks, Ken. Can you imagine digging holes in your backyard to bury your trash? It might not seem so far-fetched when you consider just how quickly Indiana landfills are filling up. We throw away enough steel and iron to provide a continuous supply for all of this country's automakers. American consumers and industry discard enough aluminum to rebuild our entire commercial air fleet every 3 months. 88% of Sunday newspapers aren't recycled. More than 500,000 trees are used to make them. So where do all these newspapers, cans, and scrap metal wind up? In our landfills. It's estimated Indiana landfills will reach capacity by the year 2000.
Thanks, Allison. Even though it sounds like our future is grim, we can do something about it. Barbara Boyd has discovered a plan of action that everyone can follow.
How right you are, Ken. We can preserve the natural beauty of our state through a simple plan of action called the 3 R's. Now, if everyone uses the 3 R's method of reducing, reusing, and recycling, we'll be able to control our landfill crisis. We can reduce. A simple solution to the garbage problem is to reduce. Less trash means less of a trash crisis. Reuse. Now, many products and containers can be used over and over again. You can sell or donate goods instead of throwing them away. Recycle. The last link in the 3R chain involves collecting empty containers and scrap material and using it to manufacture new products. We can make a difference by buying recyclable products and recycling them again and again. Following the 3 R's can prevent a trash disaster. Back to you, Ken.
Thanks, Barbara. What does Kodak film have to do with the big picture? We'll find out after this.
I recycle, so should you. When landfills are full, I don't want the garbage in my backyard.
13 million tons of glass bottles are thrown away every year, and 80% of them wind up in landfills. But these bottles should not be in the trash. Glass companies want them back. The companies now use between 30 and 50% of recycled glass in each new bottle they make. They take the old bottles, grind them up, add some sand, and melt down the mixture in a furnace. The glass is then cut and shaped into new bottles. So, when you throw away bottles, you're wasting glass that can be used over and over again. Beyond aluminum and glass, many plastic materials can also be recycled. The technology is now in place to turn used plastic into finished consumer products. Alison Gilman has more.
In Crawfordsville, the Christian Company is the nation's largest Kodak recycling center. This innovative business specializes in collecting the plastic from Kodak film canisters and then recycling it to make other useful products.
The first thing that happens in the Kodak EnviroWatch program is the consumer, or you, would use your film and you'll get your pictures back. All the rest of the contents will come to us. First thing we have to do is separate the products. Once we have them separated, we can go ahead and densify them or grind them into smaller pieces.
Once melted, the recycled plastic is colored, shaped, and cooled, and then cut into different plastic products, things like binders and plastic binder inserts. The plastic from the film canisters, which would normally be thrown away in the landfills, becomes a valuable product for recycling.
As far as recycling and the environment goes, everybody is a player because everybody is a consumer.
The people at the Christian Company aren't the only ones who reuse plastic to protect our environment. Consumers are now starting to demand that the products they buy are made from recycled materials. Many items made from recycled plastic are available now. For instance, plastic bottles can be recycled into plastic wood. That's used for park benches and household decks. It looks just like real wood. Plastic ketchup bottles can be recycled into new kinds of stain-resistant carpeting. When Hoosiers recycle, everyone wins. Businesses make profits, consumers buy quality products, and the environment is preserved. Ken, back to you.
Thanks, Allison. Everyone wants to help recycle. Even the governor's office is pitching in.
That's right, Ken. Recycling's become a part of our everyday lifestyle here at the governor's office and throughout all of state government. Our goal is to cut the amount of trash in Indiana in half by the year 2001. But to get that job done, we're going to need everyone pitching in to help protect our environment. We need to start learning responsible recycling habits, and we need to start today.
Recycling aluminum is not only good for the environment, it's also a possible source of income. Here's how some people make a little bit of money on the side. The recycling process begins when a used can is brought to a recycling center. It is shipped to an aluminum factory where it's shredded, remelted, and reformed into an aluminum sheet. That sheet is then shaped into cans, which are filled with beverages and sold back to consumers. After a nice cool drink, the consumer can recycle the can again, and the process begins anew. So how do you make money from recycling? Some recycling centers offer cash for every can that you bring back. American businesses and households use 7 million tons of paper products each year. That amounts to 40% of all the trash we throw away. Many paper manufacturers have the technology necessary to convert this paper waste into new paper products. These recycled products are of the same quality as original paper, but they cost less to make. We'll be right back.
Forest animals cannot live without no trees. We should recycle paper. Please recycle is important.
We've seen how to recycle plastic, glass, aluminum, and paper, a large step we can all take toward preserving the earth. But environmental experts say that is not enough. In addition to recycling, we must also start composting. Here's Barbara Boyd with more.
Thanks, Ken. At Greendell Farms in Mooresville, composting is all business, and big business at that. The folks at Greendell Farms specializing in turning organic materials which would normally be thrown in landfills into useful products. Grass clippings, sticks, and leaves can be converted into useful soil conditioners and then sold to consumers for a profit. The process of composting starts with the arrival of organic waste. Carbon and nitrogen are mixed into the waste. Oxygen and moisture can be added to build up the necessary heat required to cause the waste to break down. Now, once the material decomposes, it is sold to landscapers and homeowners as a soil enhancer.
You know, everybody's stuff that's in their yards, they can reuse it and make beautiful flower beds with it by the time that we take it, process it, and come back to them, and, you know, when they buy it at the store.
It may be big business for Greendell Farms to compost, but everybody else needs to do it too. 20% of landfill space is currently occupied by grass clippings, tree trimmings, and leaves. This amount can be greatly reduced by backyard composting. Composting organic waste in your backyard makes a lot of sense. It takes grass clippings about 2 weeks to decompose in a backyard compost heap.
The most important reason to compost is that it keeps green waste out of landfills. Now, it doesn't do any good in a landfill. It does a lot of good composting in your backyard. You can then stir it up and take it and put it on your garden and grow beautiful things all over again.
Backyard composting is the ultimate way to protect the earth. Now back to you, Ken, in the studio.
Thanks, Barbara. We'll see what one Indiana family is doing to save the earth after this.
We have a compost in our yard for grass, leaves, and sticks. Everyone should recycle because when I grow up, I want my kids to live and play in a clean world.
Well, we've seen the facts and heard the stories. The rest is up to all of us. In Indiana, solid waste districts are the government agencies in charge of recycling programs and education. But the government cannot do it alone. It is our responsibility to preserve the natural resources that we've inherited. Grandparents Byron and Evelyn Green want to pass these resources on to their grandchildren.
I have a lot of regrets about our generation. We could have been more environmentally aware a long time ago. I think it's the future generation that is going to really make it happen. I think they will get in the habit while they're young, and it will come natural for them, where older people now are going to have to change their habits.
Solid waste districts across the state will be implementing extensive educational, waste reduction, composting, and recycling programs. They will help you meet the state goal of reducing the waste stream 35% by 1996 and 50% by 2001. When you reduce, reuse, and recycle, you make this state a better place to live. Thanks for watching.